ahead and get started since we're right at 10. I'm Erin Tynan, and I'm the Family Consumer Science Agent for K-State Research and Extension in Pottawatomie County, and I'll be your host today. This virtual series is focused on a wide variety of essential skills that empower you and your family. During this presentation, please be respectful and open to others throughout. Feel free to type your questions into the Q&A box or in the chat box. The Q&A has an anonymous feature, so feel free to utilize this if you wish. Our chat monitors will watch closely to make sure your questions are answered. Today's presentation will be posted to our Living Well Wednesday homepage. We encourage you to visit these and see past webinars that we have covered. Go to slide 2 here. K-State Research and Extension is an equal opportunity employer, therefore we do not discriminate against anyone. If there is a special request or concern to allow you to participate in our programs, please reach out to us. We are excited to welcome Joy Miller, Extension Agent in Johnson County, and Elizabeth Brunshing Carhina, Extension Agent in Sedgwick County. They will be presenting on money habitudes. So with that, I will turn it over to our presenters.
Well, welcome to Money Habitudes. As Erin said, I'm Elizabeth Brunshing Cartagena, and I am the Sedgwick County as a Family Life and Resource Management Agent. Let's start with this question. Did you know that the relationship you have with money has far more influence on your long-term wealth than the amount you earn? Our relationship with money goes beyond dollars and cents. It is a layered mix of values, beliefs, and emotions that influence our financial decisions. Money Habitudes helps you identify your unique blend of behavior and how they either serve or challenge you in your financial journey. We hope that at the end of this webinar, you are able to understand or be aware of the functions of the 6 money habitudes and demonstrate an understanding of how personal choices and feelings affect financial well-being as well as other areas of life. And also to apply knowledge to personal financial goals based on the money habitudes recommendations.
Okay, so we're going to just start by defining what is a habitude. And habitudes are our automatic reaction. They are a combination of the habits and attitudes that influence our decisions and behavior. So habits are what we do without thinking. They are unconscious patterns of behavior built by frequent repetition. Attitudes are our subconscious thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And people, places, events, experiences, and situations trigger both our habits and attitudes. Habitudes are a part of who we are, and so we don't even notice them. And each of us is a unique mix of habitudes. Next slide. So just to give you a small experience, if you cross your arms right now and notice which hand is on top. Okay, so that is a very automatic, which hand it's what we feel comfortable with. Now I want you to undo it and put the other hand or arm on top as you cross your arms. And so this is an example of how it's uncomfortable to do things that we are not used to doing, or when we're trying to change our behaviors, it will feel unnatural to do so. Okay. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
So please share on the chat, what was your first memory of money? How old were you? I bet you have something that pops right away in your mind. Please share that on the chat. And if we have some extra time at the end, we're going to come back and see all those awesome memories that you had. So Money Habitudes have activities with cards that helps people talk about money in an interactive and easy way And most importantly, it will help you understand the habits and attitudes that affect your money-related decisions and actions. Both the physical cards and the online version contain 54 statements, 9 in each of the 6 money habitudes categories. Let's start with the security. So money helps you feel safe and secure. The planning habitude is money helps you achieve your goals. The status, money helps you create a positive image. Given, money helps you feel good by giving to others. Spontaneous, money helps you to enjoy the moment. And the last one, carefree, money is not a priority. So you will sort those statements into 3 categories based on how well describe you. You're going to have a pile will say, that's me. So when you read something and you say, yeah, that's me. So you're going to put a card there. Or sometimes it depends. Or yeah, that's not me. So there are not right or wrong answers, and all individuals have a combination of several different habitudes, and how the cards are sorted reveals how money habits and attitudes may affect financial behaviors. So using the interpretation cards will provide insight into your money habitudes results, including how you see yourself, how others see you, and the advantages and challenges associated with the habitudes. Let's watch this video to have more information on that.
Money Habitudes makes it fun and easy to discover your money personality. You'll gain insights into how and why you spend and save. Plus, it's a great way to start financial conversations. First, put the 3 blue cards down. Then set the yellow cards aside. Shuffle the remaining cards. Then, read each one and put it under the card that best fits how it describes you. Sorting takes about 10 minutes. When you're finished, set aside the sometimes and not me piles. Now, turn over the cards in your That's Me pile and arrange them by the pictures on the back. Take out the yellow interpretation cards. Begin by reading the one for the Money Habitudes category that has the most cards. There are 9 cards in each category. The more you have, the more influence that category will have on you. The yellow card tells you the message of that habitude, how others may see you, and its advantages and challenges. Each habitude represents a pattern of habits and attitudes. They're all good. However, if you're overusing or underusing any category, there may be issues. The question is, how is your combination working for you? If you want to make changes, choose a suggestion on the back of the yellow cards and contact a professional for more specific advice.
But as you may question, how does money, do money habitudes develop? Your money habit determine how confidently and competently you manage your money. They are the result of many messages you receive and experiences you have had as you were growing up. Sometimes the messages are going to be direct, and others you're going to receive it in an indirect way. There are 3 that are personal. So your personality, your family, and the personal experiences. And the last 3 ones are more indirect, which is the society, the community, the culture, the religious and spiritual beliefs, and also the media. So let's see what will be in personality. So your personality begins shaping your experiences early in life, influencing how others perceive you, whether as responsible, reliable, or the opposite, which in turn affects the responsibilities and opportunities you receive. The way you see yourself can impact your approach to money management. Confidence and competence may make it feels like a simple task, while self-doubt can lead to avoidance. So reflecting on how others view you and how you see yourself now can help you understand your financial habits and make positive changes. Another one is the family. Family have tremendous influence on money habitudes. Although you learn attitudes from the specific things your parents and other significant adults told you, you were influenced even more by your observations of the way they actually live their lives and act on money. Your family had, for example, a bottle for extra changes, and every night everyone put their change in the bottle to save for something special. That will have a message to you that maybe you are still doing that with your own family. Or there was a lot of yelling and accusations when the bills came. That is another message there. Or one parent didn't live with your family, but always bought your special gifts. And sometimes we can see ourselves doing it unconsciously because that's what we saw. Or your father frequently came home from a sale with another tool or gadget for his workshop. Most of his buys stay in the box and he rarely used them. Another example is your mother told you not to tell your father how much your new shoes cost. So there's another message there, hiding information. Also, the personal experiences. Your personal experience shape your approach to money. Positive experiences, such as being recognized for responsibilities or success, can foster confidence in managing finances, while negative experiences may lead to avoidance or financial struggles. High expectations for success can create pressure to always be responsible, making it difficult to say no, or prioritize personal financial well-being. Conversely, challenging experiences like trauma, instability, or lack of recognition can lead to financial insecurity, dependence on others, or difficulty managing money effectively. Now let's see the ones that are more indirect. We receive many messages from rules, regulations, traditions, and expectation of the culture and the greater community in which we live. For example, in one neighborhood, there is a strong sense of community. If a house burns down or a family faces disaster, the neighbors step in to help. Or in another neighborhood, people move there because they value their privacy and don't know their neighbors. If they need help, no one will know. They just do without, or they hire somebody. They don't ask neighbors for help. They don't want the neighbors to know their situation. And typically, they don't offer to help others either. Maybe you have seen those kind of dynamics in neighborhoods. The other one is religious and spiritual beliefs. What messages have you taken away from your religion about responsibility, obligation, and rewards that may influence how you make financial decisions? Some religions and spiritual teaching actively promote very simple living and encourage or require the followers to give up all worldly possessions. Conversely, others see material possessions as just rewards for doing God's work. How have you learned to interpret and apply some common principles such as God helps those who help themselves, and have faith, God will provide, or the love of money is the root of all evil, or greed gives rise to selfish and wicked actions? How you may interpret affects your money when you have those kind of messages. And the last one that we have here is media. We are constantly exposed to advertisement through television, social media, product placement, and even clothing logos, all reinforcing the idea that spending is necessary for a desirable lifestyle. The media rarely show the financial realities behind luxury living, instead promoting easy credit and emotional appeals to create artificial needs and unrealistic expectation. While many believe they are unaffected by advertising, repeatedly exposure that is subtle influence decisions, making it important to recognize these tactics and counter them with mindful financial choices. Let's check some of those brands that we have in the slide. Apple, think different, targets people who think of themselves as smart and on the cutting edge, tech savvy, and appreciate of a small difference that represent quality and innovation. So the message there is, if you're smart, you will know it, that it's worth to pay more for these products. What about Nike? Just do it. Targets people who want to see themselves as active, fit go-getters, and the message is, don't think twice. Take charge and buy this to have a better life. Another one is L'Oreal, because you're worth it. Creates the image that you are an important, valuable, special person. The message, it's okay to spend more on this because you deserve it. The last one is State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Targets people who value community and don't want to work with an impersonal bureaucratic company that when they need help. The message, you can trust us, so don't even bother looking into options. So you have here examples of all those messages that will influence when we manage money.
Okay. So once a person determines their money habitudes, their combination, which is unique to all of us, the question always is, are you happy with your results? Do you see that those reflect you? And one way to double check if your money habitude combination is working for you or against you is to evaluate your financial well-being. And this is a very subjective thought. So it's how you define well-being. But the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found when they did research with consumers that consumers perceived financial well-being as a state of being wherein a person can fully meet current and ongoing financial obligations, feel secure in their financial future, and make choices that allow them to enjoy life. So are you spending less income than you're bringing in? Are you able to pay your bills on time? Do you have money for the unexpected items, saving for retirement? And then, of course, with everything is, are you able to make some decisions to enjoy life on a daily basis? So when you look at those combination of habitudes you might have, the question is, are you able to meet that? And do you feel well with your financial situation? Next one. Next slide, please. Okay. So often the question is, can you change your habitudes? And creating that new norm can be challenging because, again, it's unnatural. And so you can kind of think about this. One of the most common behaviors we try to change is our eating patterns. We've spent years and years eating the same way, and it can be very difficult to change that pattern. So that's even true if you know what to do, you understand what to do, and you know what that pattern should be. It is still hard to change. Our knowledge and skills only account for 10 to 20% of our actions. So the other part in creating change is that awareness. And so that's what Money Habitudes does, is it helps you be aware of those, why you make the decisions you might. So to change your money habitudes, it can be difficult, even with that awareness. It will require making a very intentional choice and commitment based on a strong belief that the benefits are worth the effort. So reasons why you might change is you see a real benefit in making that change. You may have new experiences that bring about the reason for changing. There may be a shock of reality, a fear of consequences, or maybe you're tired of feeling limited or trapped. The only other reason without an intentional choice to make a change is life-changing events, something that dramatically happens that will make you use a different money habitude. So it could be even the positive dramatic events like buying a house, getting married, having children, retirement. Those can all create reasons to change dramatically. Other things could be you lost a job, you lost a spouse, or a close friend. So sometimes it's the negative things that happen in life that make us utilize a different money habitude. In the end, our money habitudes are who we are. We're a combination of all six. And so typically with change, we are dialing up or dialing down some of those money habitudes. It's really hard to just completely change who you are internally with that. So it's not good. It's not bad. It's just that we have to work with who we are with that. Next slide. So when you're looking at different situations, there's questions to ask yourself because we're trying to identify the triggers to our behaviors that we may want to continue or we may want to change. So with each money habitudes, there's an interpretation card. And so you can see if using more of a different habitude would be helpful in your money journey. And identifying which money habitude you use, whether you're feeling stressed, upset, or unhappy. We all might use the same money habitude, but we might use different ones in those situations. And answering the questions, what money habitude do you use when life is going well and feeling good? And which one do you use to reach your goals? Also figuring out those triggers, who, where, when, and what triggers us to do things that either help us or sabotage our actions that we're choosing to utilize. Sometimes we really strongly identify with a money habitude, and we may be overusing that habitude, which could create more disadvantages than advantages with it. And again, if we want more balance, which habitude could we use more of often to reach our goals? Or which one should we use less often to reach those goals? Next. Oops. So while we're not able to help you identify your money habitudes through this presentation today, just to give you an overview, you do have the opportunity to take the Money Habitudes Assessment test, which is online. The URL code is a little covered there by our title, but you are able to go to the Money Habitudes website and take the online assessment. It is a fee of $14.95, but you will get your personal results and be able to see those advantages, challenges, and how to reshape your financial journey today. Another great tool is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau about budgeting and how to create it and how to stick with it. So again, they're going to give you tools and help you identify values that are important to include in your budget and some of those tips and tricks to help you on your way to meeting your financial goals.
I think we have extra time to go back to that, those memories of when you were a child. Monique, do you mind to read what we have in the chat for that?
Sure. So several people put some information in the chat. Some of them included 3rd grade writing with checks. Used to get dimes for my birthday. When my mom told me I could keep my dog if I paid to get her fixed, and I would pay for her dog food, which I cut coupons for. Birthday money. Elementary school, going to the local store and purchasing items for elderly neighbors. They always gave me a tip. Getting 50 cents weekly allowance. Grandparents giving me quarters when we visited. My grandma gave me a 50-cent piece, 25 cents for a lost tooth.
Tooth fairy.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
tooth fairy.
And
That
I would be
sounds great. Yes.
Yeah, I would be curious because often how we spend money, um, 80% of us will follow the repetition of what we were taught or what we experienced as a child. So I'd be curious if those who received an allowance did an allowance with their children, or those who received quarters or money from their grandparents provide them, probably not a quarter necessarily, but maybe a dollar bill, because that was the pattern that they experienced growing up.
It's interesting because I'm from Puerto Rico. My family, I have 11 siblings, and of course not at the same time, but they will give us money to go to buy something in school, and sometimes I will save it because, like in high school, I was going to Upper Bound, which is like being in high school and taking classes in the university. And so by then, I had to use the public transportation. And so it was kind of like, I have lunch at school. I didn't have to use it. So I was like kind of like planning for those extra things that I was doing that I will need money to go back home. So Joy, do you have any memories?
So the tooth fairy seems to be a very repetitive one, I'm sure, and so that's kind of like our culture. You receive something for a lost tooth. So I remember my first, when I first received a job, I was always willing to go work. But I measured it in the how many candy bars. That was how I measured the the value of the dollar I received, which probably wasn't a good thought, but that's because all my friends had money to purchase those extras, like at concession stands at games. I had to earn mine, and so that's how, like, oh, I earned $5. That's 10 concession stand item, 10 games that $5 would get me through to buy something each time I went. So, so yeah, that was kind of my first one. I would like to.
Another.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I have it comes to me that was so special. Having 11 siblings. Money doesn't. You don't receive money like if you are smaller family. But I have an uncle that he was affluent, and I remember they gave us for Christmas the dollar in coin. So I had never seen that before. And I don't know, I didn't want to waste. I don't want to go and buy anything, but maybe I lost it because I wanted to keep it so safe that then I don't know what I did with that. But that was like a special coin that I always saw the paper, but not the coin.
Okay. And I want to point out, because oftentimes with money habitudes, we talk about it like as in spending, but money habitudes in our personality is more beyond than spending. It's about how we earn, it's how we save, it's how we invest. And it also is a big part if we own our own business or are entrepreneur. They all have influences in all those realms of finances in our lives. So keep that in mind. It's not just about how we spend. Our money habitudes influence us, but in other areas of our financial journey too.
And I'm curious, now you can open your mic. We talk about how our personality and our family and our personal experiences, the society, your religion, the media, how you see when I read those examples, how can you say, yeah, I remember my parents yelling because somebody bounced a check or, things like that. Anybody wants to share?
see anything in the chat or the Q&A yet, but there was a comment that money seems to be connected to teeth. LOL. My grandmother gave me a 50-cent piece every time she got one during the period I had braces.
And so, you know, with the media, it's so obvious that it is unrealistic what they are offering. You know, if you drink Coke, you're going to have happiness. That doesn't work like that. But it feels like influencing people, and then Coke is what I want to drink, or my kids wants to drink. The same with brands, you know, showing the brand in your clothing is something that people think that if I put this of this brand, it will feel good, accepted, and so all the things, you know, it's unconsciously that we act like that. But this, I love the when you do your card in the assessment and you see yourself there. It's like, yeah, this is. And so I have been sharing those cards with family members or friends and say, can you take this and tell me how accurate you see the results came? And they say, wow, yeah, definitely. Which is like, for them, it's an eye-open, opening because they never have had something, you know, that they are deciding, this is me, this is not me, or this is sometimes. And then it comes something that is like revealing. And like we said, the card has the advantages and the challenges, and in the back it says they give you some solutions or suggestions for you to start working in a goal.
So we had a comment that I drink Diet Coke and I feel a lot of happiness. So that is part of it, is being able to utilize money to enjoy life. And so if that item, that Diet Coke or that coffee, brings you enjoyment, that's kind of the point, is to figure out how to fit that in your budget and meet those desires to enjoy life while still meeting the everyday responsibilities, and to be able to handle an emergency and secure your future in the long term. So, but sometimes things can get us off track. So it could be too many Diet Cokes then puts us in financial insecurity, or not be able to handle, I need new tires for my vehicle. So it's kind of weighing out those pieces and having those responses, or knowing what to do when you have to dial back some things. So if it's the trigger is I go by the convenience store and it makes me want to go in and get a Coke, how can you then plan ahead in the future? Say, well, I don't want to go to the convenience store, so I'm going to take a different route to work so it's not as convenient to stop in and get that Diet Coke. So the lovely thing about Money Habitudes is we're not all one or another money habitude. We are a combination of all six, and we can dial in and utilize them in a variety of ways. So we're not all savers, we're not all spendthrifts. We're really a combination of money habitudes. So we're not all one or the other. We are a combination.
There was another comment in the chat that refers back to like the religious beliefs that Elizabeth was talking about. Pam wrote, I received 25-cent allowance and I was asked to put 10 cents in the church offering plate.
Yeah. So that's observation and, rules that you grew up with of how to utilize money, or what was expected of you in you utilizing money. And so that just all has an influence. It has an impression on us. It's not good and it's not bad. And that's the beauty of it all. It's we're just all so unique in all of this.
But also help us kind of to see our reality. And then if we have a goal of investing or saving, then you are going to see, okay, am I in the right track, or do I have to make a little bit of changes here and there to achieve those goals, to meet those needs first, and then the wants goes next. So it is a very, I have been teaching it, and it's just like the impact that, everybody that is going to the assessment is just great. And I love that in the back of the card, give you suggestions. So you can start your goals in a small scale, and then you go as you keep growing and desiring how to keep working on those goals. Any questions from the audience about money habitudes?
We have one of these kits in our office, so I don't know if other extension offices have those, but they could, if they didn't want to do it online, they could maybe get a hold of their extension office and see if they have the cards available.
Yes. So each area office has a Money Habitudes kit. You may have an agent who can share that with you, who may host a class. Elizabeth regularly has a class with this in Sedgwick County. So there could be opportunities other than doing the online assessment, yes.
And it is in Spanish and English, because I do everything, I do bilingual. So there's cards are already in Spanish. So that is a plus.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions in the chat, Monique?
I'm not seeing any. I don't see anything in the Q&A either. Is there any other questions anybody has?
If not, it's having a pleasure of sharing this information. If you have the opportunity, please do your assessment and start working on the goals. We're kind of like half year. You still have time to keep working on those maybe year's resolutions that you had in mind.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending, and thanks to Joy and Elizabeth for their wonderful presentation. Your opinions are valuable to us, and we would like for you to let us know what you thought about today's program. Please complete this survey and share other topics for the future that you might like us to cover. Also, be sure to check out our Living Well Wednesday website to view all the past webinars. Thank you everybody for joining us.